an important point to remember when reporting percentages is if we are comparing one percentage to another, it's least ambiguous if you describe that change in percentage points. So say the VAT increased as it did from 17.5% to 20%. If you say there's a 2.5% increase, that's immediately ambiguous. So what are you referring to? Are you referring to the 2.5 difference in the actual percentage points? Or are you saying that it's 2.5 of that 17.5, which was a percentage anyways, a percentage of a percentage? Immediately you're in trouble, and it's not clear to the reader's or the user's mind. So far better to report that as a difference in percentage points. In contrast, if you're not comparing percentages, say if you're saying life expectancy has gone from 70 years to 77 years, it's much more meaningful and less ambiguous to talk about the percentage change away from that 70 years. So in that case, it's an increase in 10%. This is an example which quite neatly demonstrates that. So 1948 compared to 1970, there was a very slight, well, a million's not necessarily slight, but there was a decrease in the number of smokers in Britain. So the smoking population shrank by 4%. So that is 1 million there, which has gone here. So which, as it happens, is 4% of 26 million. It's reduced by 4%. That's not particularly, that's very clear. The whole population changed in that time, though. So therefore, it's very useful to scale that as a percentage. So here, within each year. So here we've got 65% of what was actually a smaller population are smokers. Here, you've got 55%. So actually, marginally less people smoked, but actually as a percentage of all the people who could smoke, it was considerably less than the percentage who did at that time. Comparing year to year in that way, comparing two percentages, is least ambiguous. It's less ambiguous if we stick to the talking about a decline in 10 percentage points. When you're starting to talk about very, very small percentages, say 0.03%, again, it's coming back to the themes that we were talking about in the earlier slides. It's far more helpful if we can put that into a scale which people can more readily relate to, say perhaps 3 in every 10,000. Similarly, when you're starting to talk about very, very big percentages, say a 200% increase in something, it's probably going to be more comprehensible if you say, in that case, it's tripled or doubled or whatever. So a 200% increase would, of course, be tripling. Sorry to rattle through these at quite a pace, but I'll keep the pace going because I know Sophie will be keen to take over soon. I'm not going to talk about absolute and relative risk. So if I were to Google stuff that doubles my risk in cancer, the search engine may tell me, in fact it did, that diabetes can double my risk in cancer, weight gain, smoking cigarettes, hormone replacement therapy, solariums, which is why I'm so pale, etc., can all double my risk in cancer. Seems pretty bad. Should I worry? Rather depends on what it's doubling my risk from. What was the baseline risk? And here we're into the area of absolute and relative risks. Let's use a concrete example, bacon or any processed meat. So a short time ago, studies suggesting that processed meat increases the risk of colorectal cancer by 20%. So bacon would do that, obviously, being a processed meat. How bad is that? Well, it so happens that 5 out of 100 people, on average, developed colorectal cancer in their lifetime. Quite a surprising amount. So there they are. There's my 5 out of my 100. So a 20% increase in that risk if I eat if basically I just pig out on, forgive the pun, bacon for the remainder of my life. If all these 100 people ate loads more bacon, say another 3 rashers of bacon per day for the rest of their life, the number, on average, would rise to 6. That's a 20% increase. But it's less alarming. Well, it's no joke for him or her who possibly gets the colorectal cancer as a result of eating lots of bacon. But it's certainly less alarming than just saying there's a 20% increase in the risk of that particular type of cancer once you take into account what the baseline risk was. So it's the same as saying 1 extra case per 100 people. And in fact, quite a nice way of summarizing might be something like this. 100 people eating 50 grams of processed meat every day for the rest of their lives would lead to 1 extra case of colorectal cancer.